Hello everybody, and welcome to this quarterly wrap-up, the first one of the year. I think I'm gonna start doing this instead of doing like a monthly wrap-up because I feel like sometimes I just don't read a ton of books in a month. This year I've been really slacking and I want to do a lot more, but I just haven't been. For now, I think I'm just gonna do quarterly, and I feel like it's a lot and it's like a full video. If I only read like 3 books that month, that's only like a 10-minute segment of me talking about it. But anyways, I'm gonna take you through I have my reading journal here, and I'm just gonna be looking off of that. So if I'm like looking down and talking, that's what's going on. So I think so far I've read 11 books. Let's see, 12 books. So starting off, here's my January spread all filled out. January I read 3 books and a total of 913 pages. My favorite book of January was Moonlight Mile, which I'll talk about. I read 1 audiobook and 2 actual books. First book I read of the year was Eleanor and Park, and I've been wanting to read that book since I was very young. Since like middle school, I've been wanting to read that book. And I think had I read it in middle school, I really would have liked it. But reading it now, I'm just a little bit too adult for that. I feel like I want more, like the storyline, I feel like I want more out of it. I don't want like the base facts, which is what I feel like a lot of really young adults, like middle school age. I feel like that's not even young adult, but I think that's what it is considered. They just kind of tell you things, but they don't delve into it. And I just felt like the characters were pretty immature, which they were because they were young, but they were supposed to be in high school in this book, and it didn't feel like that at all to me. So, second one was Moonlight Mile, which was my favorite read of January. And Moonlight Mile was honestly one of the first like mystery thriller kind of books that I've read in a really long time, and I loved it. It was actually so good, and I honestly think about it a lot even now. I think about like the storyline of it. I don't think about it as much as I thought I was going to, but I definitely think about it. Oh, and Eleanor and Park was a 3.5 star rating, and I gave Moonlight Mile 4.5 stars. And I definitely would say you should read it because it was good, and I feel like it's not talked about as much. He was the author of Shutter Island. It was a movie, and we watched that because of reading that book, and it was crazy. So yeah, the next book was a memoir, and it was Pamela Anderson's memoir, Love, Pamela. It was so sad. It was so sad, and I really liked getting to hear about her because I feel like you hear this one narrative of her like over and over and over again. Obviously, I don't believe the narrative about her, but I also have never looked into anything regarding her. So to listen to her story and listen to her tell it was pretty heartbreaking, and you really see what the media does to women and what like the world is to women, and it sucks. So that was hard, and her talking about herself as a mother was like amazing and kind of the mother that I aspire to be. You know, she really was there for her kids, and she wanted the best for her kids. And she did just that. She said, I'm gonna protect these kids at all costs. That was it and I gave that 3 stars. As far as memoirs go, it wasn't my favorite one that I've read, but it was good. And then it was February. That's what the page layouts for January looked like for me. It's like this. Okay, and then February, I read 2 audiobooks and 5 physical books. I had a really good month in February. A couple of them were not amazing. So in total, I read 6 books in February. First one was If He Had Been With Me. Oh my goodness. This book killed me. I was sobbing on the couch, like sobbing. And my husband was just like, what is going on? But when I tell you, oh, this book hurt. Laura Nolan, is that how you say her name? Laura Nolan just released the second book in this. It's not really a series. It's like I think it's from his perspective, some of it, and then I think it tells like the aftermath of what happened after everything that happened in this book. I really loved both of the characters in this book. I don't know. The main character, gosh, why can't I forget her name? Oh, Autumn. Autumn I didn't love. I feel like she was a little bit, I don't know, something about her personality I didn't love a lot. But I loved her and Finn together. I thought they were perfect. And I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. That was all I'll say for If You Had Been With Me. That was a 4.5-star book. Honestly, I think about it still. Sometimes I think maybe it is a 5-star book for me, but it didn't give me that, like, I can't read for a day after I read this book because I need to just like have a break. So next book I listened to on audiobook, and it was Tom Lake. I heard Haley Pham talk about how Meryl Streep narrated this book, so I was like, of course I have to listen. Anything regarding Meryl Streep, I'm gonna give it a chance. So I decided to listen to it, and I think if I had read the actual physical book, it would have been so much better. But I was listening to this on audiobook because it's kind of a boring storyline. Like, there's not a lot going on. It's not like a wow, you know? So I think had I read the actual book, it would have been a little bit better. But I did like hearing Meryl Streep narrate this. But I just feel like I kept getting lost. I kept getting like misplaced, and I didn't understand a lot of what was going on, and I definitely missed some parts. So I think maybe if I ever got the physical book, I would read it again, but it wasn't amazing to me. It was a 3-star for me. The next one was The You I've Never Known by Ellen Hopkins, which I love anything Ellen Hopkins, and I'm pretty sure I talked about a lot of these books before, but I'm going to talk about them again. These are some of my favorite books, but this one was definitely a lot milder than what I'm used to from her, because I used to read like Crank and Glass and Burned, and I was expecting that, and this wasn't really that. This was more, I just think it was more, I guess more realistic, but it was still, I just don't know. It just wasn't anything. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't horrible. It was just like all right book to me. Oh, what I do remember about this book, reading my little review I wrote down here on the bottom, the ending, her mom had written her like a little journal in the time that they were apart, is all I'll say. In the time that they were apart, her mom wrote a journal, and at the end you get to read it. And oh my goodness, it hurt. It hurt. And that's all I'll say about that. I did give this book a 4 stars at the time. I think now it'd probably be like 3.5, maybe 3. Just because I don't ever think about it, and I don't think it was what I loved. I think I was just really excited that I read an Ellen Hopkins book, and it just wasn't, like, I don't think my rating was right. Okay, the next one I read was Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, which is kind of a classic book, but I just hated it. I know I've tried to read it before, and I just, like, hate it. I just think it's, like, so, I don't know. I feel like I get the point of what he was doing, like, why it was so well liked, because I can see how you would think like society is kind of falling into that way, but it just, for me, everybody was annoying. I hated every single character, every single one I hated. Why am I reading a book about people I hate, you know? And nothing was saving it for me. Nothing was like interesting, really. I just kind of wanted to get through it just to say that I've read it and to have it off my shelf. So I gave that 2 stars, and I think that would stand. I hate it. Okay, next book was Beneath a Meth Moon. This book, oh, it hurt in a different type of way because it's a young adult. So they kind of don't go into too much detail about like the drug use and stuff like that, but it's still there, obviously, and it's just so sad to see it happening to somebody so young, and to see it happening to somebody who has a loving family and who like has people in her corner. But it also shows just how it happens, like how fast it happens and how quick you get addicted. And yeah, I gave this a 4 stars, and I think that still stands because I really liked this book. And I think for a younger audience who's trying to reach for that type of thing, because I know I used to read a lot of books about drug use when I was younger, like when I was in high school and middle school and stuff like that, just because I feel like the more you read and the more you know about it, the more you kind of have an open heart for it. Not an open heart for it, but like an open heart to people that are struggling with that. I just feel like it helps you understand a little bit of the mentality. And I think that is a very important thing. So I will continue to read books about drug use and stuff like that. So 4 stars, and I think that's right. Next one was Made to Match, which I have tried to read before and I couldn't get into it, and I thought it was just a bad book. I did read another one by Deanne Gist, and I loved it. I think it was Redeeming Love. No, I say that every time and that's not it. Whatever. It was another book that I read by Deanne Gist, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and now I read this one, and this one was, some parts made me get a little bit lost. Some parts made me like, I don't know if this is the best book ever, but when I tell you it is the best book ever, it really seriously is. I gave that 4 stars. It's a historical fiction, so she's a maid and he is, I forget what his position is, but they both work for this rich couple, and she had worked like the entire time to be like the main parlor maid, and he kind of came and changed those plans for her. But the best part of this book was like everything that was happening in the background. Like no part really got super boring. I think at the beginning, setting up, it was boring, but then after that it was like there's something going on in every chapter, and so it was kind of really exciting. And I loved the way that like their relationship got built up, and it was just good. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. This is what the layout for February looked like. And then I haven't filled this out yet, but it is March. This is my March spread. In March, I read 3 books. One was an audiobook, and then one was a poetry book, and one was a regular physical book. The first one was The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So it kind of follows Oak, who is the younger brother in the original trilogy, and he has a childhood friend, and that's who it's mostly following. Her name is Surin, and her story is really interesting, and I really liked it. I almost completely forgot about her, and I'm kind of in love with the way that she brought her back, and I'm in love with the way that she was introduced to us in the original trilogy. And this was awesome to see like more of that and more of her world that she built. I love it. I give this 5 stars. I love everything Scroll Prince. I really do. And I love Holly Black's writing. It is so good. And I really think the next one I'm going to read is The Dark Part of the Forest, or the darkest part of the forest. That one. I definitely loved this book. Rebel with a Pen, which is supposedly the poetry of James Dean. It's not James Dean's poetry at all. All the reviews I was reading on Goodreads are pretty much saying like it was given to some man. Everyone thinks that he wrote it and like did all the doodles in the book and then like tried to play it off as James Dean. 1 star. It just sucked. It was so stupid. And then the whole time it was literally just talking about gay sex. Like that was it. And it's like, I mean, go off, sister, but like, I don't know. I thought it wasn't even like deep, you know? It could be deep, but it wasn't. It was just Prisoner's Throne. So the whole story, the reason why I read Stolen Heir was because I didn't even know it has ever been out. And so I bought Prisoner's Throne because I was in Target and I saw it and I was like, oh, I have to buy that. I was so excited because I didn't realize that she had a book out, and I bought it, and then I realized that, and I decided to listen to the other one on audiobooks because it's on Spotify, which is awesome. So I listened to that, and then I read this one, and I loved it. I loved it. Another 5 star. I think this book is so good, and I'm in love with Oak's love and Stern's love, and I love that she's like a little evil meanie bobini, you know? But she definitely is a character. And Holly Black's writing is so incredible because it gets so deep into the characters' minds. And Prisoner's Throne honestly made me annotate a couple of times, so let me pull this out. The first one I'm pretty sure was because I was like, this is incredible to show like how Oak thinks. So she wrote, and this is Oak in his mind. He says, who's my favorite sister? What's my favorite color? Can you ever forgive me? Okay, maybe not that last one. And I was just like, that's so cute. Like, that is such a realistic, like, thought process because he's thinking of asking a question that she needs to guess wrong. He's so observant. He's so just well-rounded, like such an amazing character, and definitely grew up like the way that, like, it makes sense. The way that he grew up, it makes sense the way he thinks. So I'm obsessed. And then Holly Black is the queen of romance. Everything. Charm me, rip me open, ruin me, go too far. I'm sorry? What? This book has me screaming from the rooftops. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I love it. Oh, and then you get to see a little bit. The very last one was me talking about Cardon's powers. You get to see a little bit more of that in this book, and I love it. I love his abilities, and I love what they can do, and how it's just like a use of the earth. I love it. It's amazing to me, and it was 5 stars. And this was, other than Stolen Air, well, Stolen Air was the first 5-star of the year, but it wasn't like a physical read. This was my first 5-star physical read. And I'm gonna read everything that Holly Black ever puts out because I'm obsessed with her and I love her so much. This was what my March reviews looked like. And they were so cute that I wish I wrote more books. Like, I went with like the gold at the end of the rainbow because because of St. Patrick's Day, like the clovers and stuff like that. I went with the rainbows, the gold, and the coins. I write like whether I would read it again and my favorite scene and my favorite character and stuff like that. I write those down and my stars are so bad in this, but I just thought it was like cute. It gave me like kid drawing type of vibes. So I was like, I don't want the stars to be perfect. Like, I want it to be like weird and funky and cute. But yeah, so if I feel like it on the next one, I'm going to finish filling all of this out and then start my April spread. Hope you guys found some books to read, and I hope I went over them well. I know some I don't quite explain as much, and I want to get better at that, about like having stuff to describe the book to you. But we're a newbie here, and we're working on it, and we will get it together. So see you in the next clip. Bye. I decided I am gonna fill this out with you guys. I'm pretty sure these are finished, right? I think I'm gonna look up some quotes to fill in these spots. Okay, I just got some quotes online for the Stolen Air and Made to Match. That is finished. And then I'm just on Prisoner's Throne, which I have the actual book, so I'm gonna use that quote, everything charm me, rip me open, that one. Because, wow. Favorite scene from the Prisoner's Throne is the Jude and Oak fighting scene. I just feel like it was the most climactic, like it was amazing. And my favorite character is definitely Red. Okay, I'm gonna write my review real quick. Holly Black is one of the most amazing authors. All of her characters are so well developed and as realistic as they can be, and every part of this is truly captivating. She's amazing. 5 stars. Because you know it. She deserves it. I am gonna start my April spread. And I think I'm gonna do like an April showers type of thing. So I'm gonna do one big rain droplet and write April in there. And then the rest I'm just gonna do little droplets all around. Before I forget which ones are which colors. She is not the cutest, but she's there. I'm just gonna, when it's dry, I'm gonna erase that, and then I'll set up like the monthly recap type of page. So I'm gonna fill out my March recap as well. So 5 stars, there were 2, and 1 star, there was 1. Okay, my March favorite. I think The Prisoner's Throne was my favorite. Okay, and then I read fantasy and poetry. So 5 stars, 2, 2 stars, 0, 3 stars, 0, 4 stars, 0. Types of read, audiobook was 1, and physical book was 2. There was 0 ebooks. Total books was 3, and number of 5 stars was 2. And then I'm gonna get the total pages right now. Sorry guys, got a call, but it is 799 total pages. So I'm going to fill out the beginning pages now. So just update my monthly favorite and stuff like that. Alright, I'm gonna fill out my ABC challenge book log right now. So for B, I'm gonna put Brave New World. And that had 268 pages. S, Stolen Bear, which had 356 pages. Which had 96 pages, and Prisoner's Throne. Okay, that's up to date. So I did read If He Had Been With Me, so I'm gonna fill that in. And that was it for that. Favorite read of the year, so this one was Prisoner's Throne. And I believe that's it. So everything is caught up. Yeah, everything's caught up. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I have started on the spread. I just haven't colored it in yet. This is just the outline, so then I'm gonna do the whole everything. These are in pen, and I kind of hate them, but it is what it is. They just got really messy. But yeah, so there's that, and I'll show you guys me coloring it in. honestly hate that that is purple. So let's see if we can cover it. Alright guys, everything is filled out, so that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your spring, great start of your spring, and I'll see you in the next vid. Bye!